Hi, sixth graders. Welcome to our Literature Circle unit. In the screencast, you're going to go ahead and find out how to complete the calendar for the jobs and for the pages read. So one of the first things that you want to do today is make sure that you determine how many pages you are going to be reading for each day that we are meeting for our Literature Circle unit, and also which job you have assigned to you. So if you could take a look at what I have right here. This is a great example of how to complete a calendar for the book Stargirl. There's a lot of information going on this particular image right here, but I want to walk you through it. So if you are reading the book Stargirl, some of you are not. What you need to know is that you are going to begin by assigning pages and a job for today, for Thursday, May 5th, all right? Or for Friday, May 6th, depending on A day or B day. The last day that you are going to assign pages and a job will be Wednesday, May 25th or Thursday, May 26th. All right, the final day for literature circles will be Friday, May 27th or Tuesday, which will be May 31st. All right, so it's good to know that. The next thing that we need to know is, well, if we are reading Stargirl, we need to know how many pages Stargirl has. So if we take a look, Stargirl has 186 pages. And if I know that I have a total of 8 days to read this particular book, if I do a little bit of math here, 186 divided by 8 is about 23.2. So on average, I'm going to be reading about 23 or 24 pages each day that I meet for class. All right. So that's going to help me out as I go ahead and complete my calendar for the pages read. So you're going to notice again that we are starting the Literature Circle on May 5th. My first reading assignment is going to cover pages 1 through 23. Now it's okay if the book does not start until page 3. That's all right. Then you will read pages 3 through 23. All right. The next day that we'll meet in class for our Literature Circle is May 9th, and we know that the pages read then will be 24 through 47. Please make sure that your entire group knows that you should read through page 47 then, so that when you come to class, everybody is on the same page. The next day that you meet then on the 11th, you're going to continue working, this time with 24 pages. So you'll read pages 48 through 72, continue adding those pages on, 73 through 96. I'm just working through on the days that I'm meeting for the Literature Circle, page 97 through 120, page 121 through 145, page 146 through 170. Remember, my book has 186 pages. All right, so on the very last day that I'm going to assign myself reading and my group members reading, I'm going to start on page 171 and read through the end. I'm going to finish that book because on the 27th, on this day, this is the last day that you will have for meeting to discuss within your literature circles. Okay? All right. So the next thing that I would like to do is go back to this document and show you, all right, you have the pages figured out, you have those identified on your calendar. All right? So what we have now here in red are the different jobs that you're going to be completing. So the different jobs, there are 5 jobs, and you will choose one job for each day that you meet. All right? As a group, all jobs need to be covered for each meeting. All right? So what I'd like to do is show you, based on our Moodle site, we have the 5 jobs posted here. So one of the first jobs that we have is the connector. Now as the connector, your job here is identified. If this is your very, very first job, you're going to write down pages 1 through 23 that you are assigned reading, okay? And your job then is to find at least 3 connections between the book and your world. There are 3 different types of connections that you should be looking for. You will need to have 1 text to self. You will also need to have 1 text to world, and you will also need to have 1 text to text. Right? So there are conveniently 3 spots. What you will do is list the connection that you made. For example, while reading Stargirl, Stargirl was a student that was homeschooled, and she is now beginning public school for the first time. What I could do is I could say, gosh, that's pretty similar to another story that I read called Schooled. So I would circle text to text and I would write down, this reminds me of the story Schooled, where the main character was homeschooled and then he decides to go to a public school. All right? So I have text to text covered. The next thing that I would do is try to find a text to self connection. All right? So again, I would make that connection, text to self, relate it to a text that I have read. We're not doing movies, it's a text. And then finally, I will go ahead and find a connection with text to world. Again, state very explicitly what that connection is from the story Stargirl to the bigger world at large. Okay? So that is connector. The next job is summarizer. So let's say that perhaps your first job is summarizer. Again, you're going to write down page 1 through 23 because this is your first job. And what you're going to do as summarizer is make a list of the 5 most important things that happened in today's reading, the reading that you are assigned, you currently are assigned. You may have to go back and reread portions of the text in order to make sure that you included all the important events. Very easy. You list the important events. Okay? Remember, a summary does have the most important events, all right? Please do not double up on these events. If there's one event and it's kind of similar to the other one, it still only counts as one. Do not pull it apart as 2 events. All right, the second part of being the summarizer then is you're going to use your own words. Use the summary, use the events up here that you indicated, and you are going to write a summary that is 5 sentences long. I want you to use the hamburger paragraph that you've learned in language arts. So think about that top bun, think about, you know, the fillings, you know, the tomato and the lettuce and all that good stuff in there. Think of the burger, think of the cheese, and then think of that bottom bun. So make sure that you have some sort of a topic sentence, your details, and then your concluding sentence. All right? I also want you to color code this. Yes, I did say that. I want you to color code each of those details that are mentioned up above here, each of these events. I want you to highlight those separately. That way you're going to make sure that you're including them in your writing. Okay? All right, the third job is illustrator or mapper. So they're one and the same. I just refer to it as illustrator. If this is the first time that you are doing this job, very first reading assignment, you're going to put down pages 1 through 23. Here's your job. You are to draw some kind of a picture related to the selection that you've read. It can be a sketch, a cartoon, a diagram, or a graphic organizer. You can illustrate something that's discussed specifically in the book or something that the reading reminded you of. Your picture might convey, so come across as an idea or a feeling that you got from the reading. Make your illustration on the blank sheet following these directions. You're going to notice right after this sheet, turn the page, there's going to be a blank sheet, a front side that's blank and a back side that's blank. Okay? If you're going to use the front side for this particular assignment, please make sure that you write down on that blank sheet pages 1 through 23. All right? Okay, so that's the first step. That's pretty awesome. Second part of being the illustrator or mapper is you need to present this to your group. So you are going to show your illustration to your group members without comment. So just hold it up for them to take a look at. Other group members are going to take turns speculating what your picture means, and then you will explain your drawing. Okay? Explain your drawing. This happens as soon as you have created your illustration or your cartoon, your sketch, whatever on that blank sheet of paper. This needs to be 5 sentences long. Explain your drawing. Why did you draw that illustration? What does it mean to you? What part of the story does it represent? Again, 5 sentences, so that after you show your group members your illustration and they take turns talking about what they think it may be, you can read your explanation to them. Okay? All right, discussion director is the 4th job. This is probably one of the most important jobs because discussion director, you are going to be beginning your Lit Circle discussion, and then you're going to turn it over to the first group member to go ahead and actually start that discussion. You will also have a time to go ahead and discuss as the discussion director. Okay? If this is your assignment, Know that you'll also go ahead and conclude the day's meeting and making sure that everybody understands what their next reading assignment is for the next class as well as their next job. Okay? So if you are assigned discussion director, first time you're going to write down pages 1 through 23 or whichever chapters you're going to be reading. Your job is to develop a list of questions that your group might want to discuss about this part of the book. Your job is to help people talk over the big ideas in the reading and share their reactions. Usually the best discussion questions come from your own thoughts or feelings and your concerns as you read. You need to create 6 questions using our house model, okay, related to the reading for today. All right. So what I mean by that, 6th graders, is you have Costa's levels of questions, okay? So as you take a look at Costa's levels of questions, let me move some of this stuff here. All right. You have, at the very bottom, 2 level 1 questions. Remember that these are the most basic types of questions. You're going to come up with 2 questions that are using our clue words, our keywords. So please make sure that your questions begin with these questions or with these clues, okay? Then you're going to move on to level 2 questions. Again, these questions are getting a little bit more difficult. What you need to do is go ahead and start out your questions with the keywords, 2 separate questions. And finally, you have the application level. Remember, these are the highest level of thinking questions. So as you're writing these questions, include the keywords, imagine or speculate, judge, if, this, then. Remember that? So we've done Costa's levels of questions before. It's your time to go ahead and apply them into this particular assignment as the discussion director. Okay? All right. So our final job is the word wizard. As a word wizard, your job is to find 5 words that may be interesting, puzzling, or unfamiliar. Okay? You're going to go ahead and indicate the word here. Write down the page number that you find that word, and you're going to write down your very best guess. Okay? The next thing you're going to do is look in the dictionary. Okay? Find the actual word in the dictionary. Okay? But put that definition into your own words. You're going to do that 5 times. Again, if this is the first time that you are assigned this, you're going to put down the pages 1 through 23 if you're reading Stargirl, or the chapters. Okay, and there's a sharing plan also that you will get to when we discuss this. All right, just be prepared. Okay, so 6th graders, if I'm completing my calendar then, I want to make sure that, first of all, every member of my group has a job. So I notice in my group, oh, there's me, there are 6 of us. So the first thing is I want to make sure that each of those 5 jobs are identified for or spoken for. They are. This is day 1. That means that one of the other jobs can be a duplicate. So Esperanza is going to have the duplicate job of being the illustrator or mapper. Okay? Then we're going to move to day 2. And what I did to make things easy is I just kind of like move things, I shifted them one forward. So the word wizard would become the connector. Connector becomes discussion director. Discussion director becomes illustrator. Illustrator summarizer. Summarizer word wizard. Illustrator summarizer. All right? That way I know every job is covered. Excellent. Day 3, again, I'm just shifting all the jobs one to the right. Okay, you should start to see a pattern. If not, look at this. It's kind of cool. All right. So after day 5, you're going to notice within yourself, okay, that you have had every job at least one time. Okay, I have. I don't want to double up on any of those jobs the first 5 days, all right? Day 6, these are bonus days. All right, you still need to make sure that each of the jobs are covered. You have one job for everybody, a different job. Okay, all 5 jobs are represented, and then there's going to be one job that's duplicated because I have an extra person. If you have 7 people in your group or 8 people, know that you're going to have 2 or 3 of the jobs duplicated. All right? Okay, so what does my calendar look like? This is what my calendar looks like with my job. That way, if I'm absent, I'm going to know what my job is for the day that I missed, so I'm prepared when I return to school. All right, have fun, 6th graders.